Verdant Brink. After accepting a contract from the pack, this treacherous land became Kit and Mr. Sprinkle's next destination. Though the memory of their last visit to this region of Tyria still deeply pains them, they are determined to overcome the obstacles of this land and conquer their fear. The camp isn't too far into the brink, but Kit and Mr. Sprinkle know better than to let their guard down. They come upon a narrow land bridge where they cannot walk beside each other. Each side of the path ends in a dangerous drop into a chasm below. Kit urges Mr. Sprinkle to go first so she can guard the rear and keep an eye on the cart. For a few minutes the trek was uneventful, but Kit kept her sword out just in case. Mr. Sprinkle's eyes shifted left to right, as if expecting some creature to fly up from the sides. But nothing happened. The only sounds to be heard were the rushing wind and the rustling of the leaves. Kit tripped on a root as she walked and stumbled, but quickly regained her balance. She eyed the root, certain it wasn't there a second ago. Suddenly, roots sprouted from the bridge and scratched at their legs, threatening to pull them down or toss them off the side. Kit sliced at the roots with her sword, and Mr. Sprinkle stomped on them as he hurried to get away. "Go!" Kit shouted. "Get off this bridge!" A root wrapped around Kit's leg, forcing her to stop and chop at it. The roots began to form a wall in front of her, separating her from Mr. Sprinkle. Finally freeing herself, she threw herself at the newly formed wall in an attempt to force it down, but they were too strong. Mordramoth's power is infused into these roots and is no easy task to break through. Kit is forced to turn back, but there are even more gnarled roots behind her, eager to snag her boots and trip her up. She makes a run for it, taking wide steps and slicing at the ground where she lands. After a few more hops, she's nearly at the end of the bridge, but her leg is caught mid-stride. The ground rushed up to her, and suddenly, blackness. Kit awakes in an unfamiliar place. Her vision is clouded, and she can barely see, or rather, she's surrounded by a mist clouding her view. Kit rises to her feet and tries to get her bearing. She holds out her arm in front of her as she walks, but the mist seems endless. "Sprinkle!" she yells. "Sprinkle, where are you?" Kit hears a soft clumping coming from behind her. A yak sniffs at her pockets and nuzzles her hand. Kit pats it on the head and turns around. "Mr. Sprinkle, I thought I lost you." Kit halts mid-sentence after seeing the yak. It did look like Mr. Sprinkle, but its fur was white on its back, while Mr. Sprinkle was all brown. A voice echoes from the mists as a man with a cane walks into view. "Professor Yakington has already taken a liking to you, though I suppose that should come as no surprise." Kit gasps. You're Nicholas Sanford." Nicholas bows. "The one and only. And I know you as well, Kit. Word of your actions reach even here." A puzzled look crosses Nicholas's face. "I am curious, though, as to why you are here. It is not yet time for you to be here." "Where is here, exactly?" Kit asks. "Well, it isn't so much a place as it is a plane of existence," Nicholas explains. A bright light appears behind Kit, and she turns around to inspect it. She can hear voices coming from it, calling to her, beckoning her to come closer. When she turns back to Nicholas, he is right in front of her. "It is not your time to be in this place. You have so much more left to do, so many more adventures to take, and you cannot leave your yak friend waiting. You need to go. You need to wake up." Professor Yakington nudges Kit toward the light. "Wake up, Kit. You need to wake up." Kit is about to walk through when she hears music. She stops and turns around to see a woman walking toward her playing a flute. Upon reaching Kit, she stops playing. Kit, in shock and awe, can only mouth the name, Gwen. Gwen smiles as she places a red iris flower behind Kit's ear and says, "You know, the last flower I got had a bee in it. It's time for you to wake up, Kit. This is not your place. Not yet." Tears stream down Kit's face as she turns around and walks toward the light. She takes one step in and turns to face Nicholas, Professor Yakington, and Gwen, only to see them fading away. Kit begins to fall away, weightless, into blinding light. Kit awakes near the land bridge and looks around, trying to get her bearings. She tries to get up, but realizes she can't move. Roots and vines pin her down, and she can't reach her weapon to cut herself free. Twigs snap and leaves rustle nearby as a thrasher comes into view. Trailing behind it is a pack of infested wolves, lurchers as they come to be known, and a massive brute Kit has never seen before. It looked to be a horned colical with 2 massive pincers attached to its back. The thrasher spots Kit, helpless in the roots, and slithers towards her. Kit struggles with all her might, desperate to free herself from the roots, but to no avail. The thrasher is upon her, its grotesque maw ready to strike, but it suddenly jolts to the side as a volley of arrows rain down upon it. Kit looks to where the arrows came from to see a band of adventurers rushing to her aid. Gunfire, fireballs, and arrows rain down upon the lurchers, scattering them and granting the front line a chance to move in and strike. One man goes to help Kit and begins hacking at the tough roots. The band of adventurers is able to finish off the last of the lurchers, but the massive horned beast is proving to be much more of a problem. Arrows don't seem to faze it. The infantrymen can't get close enough to attack, and fire only seems to make it angry. It twirls around in a frenzy, knocking back anyone too close, then looks around for a target. It spots Kit, helpless in the roots, and begins to charge. The man cutting doubles his efforts in an attempt to free Kit, desperately trying to get her out before the beast reaches him. It charges nearer, bloodlust in its eyes. The beast is nearly upon them when a huge brown blur slams into it, throwing it down on its side toward the cliff's edge. There stands Mr. Sprinkle, staring at the beast with hateful, determined eyes. How dare this monster try and hurt his friend? He would stomp and thrash and crush anyone and anything who would ever think to harm Kit. Mr. Sprinkle stamps the ground and bulls toward the beast while it's still recovering. He slammed headlong into the creature, throwing it off the cliff and watching it tumble down into the abyss. Mr. Sprinkle snorted and galloped toward Kit. He helped the adventurer free her from the roots, biting at them and ripping them away. Once the roots were cut away, the man helped Kit to her feet and put her arm around his shoulders to support her weight. "How did you find me?" Kit said weakly. He nodded toward Mr. Sprinkle. "Your yak friend led us right to you. He wandered into our camp and kept making noises until we followed him. When he led us to the bridge, we saw the creatures coming toward you and came as fast as we could. But enough talk. We need to get you to our camp and rest." The band of adventurers carried Kit across the bridge into the nearby camp. When they set Kit down and bandaged her and Mr. Sprinkle, the man asked, "What are you doing out here, anyway?" "We were transporting supplies to a pat camp in this region. The roots from the bridge came alive and attacked us. We got separated, and the cart was lost. I need to replace those supplies." Kit tried to get up, but the man gently pushed her back down. "No, you need to rest. We'll worry about those supplies." Kit, exhausted, lays her head down. Before dozing off to sleep, she sees a red iris flower fall in front of her. Adventurers, the pack needs to get their supplies so they can erect a makeshift camp. Unfortunately, the official supplies were lost or destroyed by Morgemoth, but you can help replace them by giving either cloth or wood for the tents. 5 cloth or wood pieces will be enough to replace what was lost.